then we have the prayer by Engineer Carol Bolu. Imagine you're there and you yourself you can't even sing it. Think about it. Sawa sawa. So today is our third day here for the conference, the third and the last day, but it's not the least day. So we still have a few paper presentations that we've lined up for today, and ask you to listen in. And we're not just listening alone, we are also learning for those who are learning, for those who are co-presenters, and for those who are also presenting their papers we ask you to help the presenters also critique their papers so that we may also improve in the next times. So even as we start this program, today, this session, the three presenters that we have, the first one will have Engineer Betty Oganda from the Kisumu National Polytechnic presenting on the firefighter robotic system. She will be followed by Charles Stephen from the Kenya Coast. Charles Stephen is going to give us a presentation on integrating coastal marine biodiversity and ecosystem protection with the blue economy at Juda Creek in Mombasa County. And we'll also have Achumodo Humphrey Ouma from RIAT, that's Ramogi Institute of Technology, who will present on the relationship between selected predictors and choice of mathematics-related courses among female students in TTIs in Western Kenya. So let's listen to them and also help them improve their papers. So you're welcome, Engineer Betty. You can use the desk on the other side. For those who are still out there, we are starting the program. Kindly you may come in so that we may all learn together and improve our scientific research even in this region. And if in case there are any presenters who have not presented the papers among the plenary there, you may just see me so that you have you registered and slotted in the program. And this is just an inspiration to our students. Usually we have even international conferences for the youth, where we have the youth meeting together with other youth all over from the globe, doing their presentations, even presenting their projects. You've seen out there we have tents with different exhibitions, different tents. On Wednesday when we started, we had a skills competition where we had the trainees competing in different trade areas to see if they are competent enough to accomplish different tasks that were put before them. So let us all be very agile and proactive so that we are able not just to be spectators, but also be participants in such forums. Thank you. You're welcome, Engineer Betty.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to present on fire extinguishing robot system, FIROS in short. So we all know that we have incidences of fire that occur during when there is climate change, especially during drought. We have the it's not in PowerPoint, you excuse me for that. So a number of fire incidences occur in Kenya, especially during when there is climate change, when there is drought and so on. We also have fire that happens in the industries, in our institutions of learning, in our households and so on. So we say that fire assumes a significant job in our human life. However, alongside that, it is hazardous too. Fire occurrences is catastrophic and they can cause harm. They can also lead to loss of life and property. We have increased incidences of such kind of occurrences. And in most instances, we find that when firemen go to extinguish fire, a number of them lose their lives because because of the extreme temperature in the house or in the areas which are affected. Some of them also lose their lives due to the toxic gases, in case it is an industrial setup. And to reduce that loss of life and loss of properties, I decided to come up with a project that is on a robot that is able to extinguish fire. It detects the fire, then takes the necessary action to extinguish it, using either fire, water, or CO2, or foam. So we were able to design one, software there, it's an exhibition there. We are able to design one that uses water to extinguish fire. So I'll leave out the introductory part, as I've said. The methodology that you're going to use is we are using an Arduino. That is an artificial intelligent tool that is able to communicate with other embedded devices to send some messages. In case there is fire outbreak, it's able to communicate with other components within the device and set off the fire immediately without any delay. The tools that are required there, number one is the Arduino Uno. I've said it is their AI or their artificial intelligence device that communicates as human being. We also have flame sensor. In case there is flame, the sensor will be able to sense it immediately and send the signal to the Arduino. You say like the flame sensor, it senses and it is able to detect flame by sensing light wavelength between 760 to 1100 nanometers. The test distance depends on the flame size as well as the sensitivity of the settings. Detection angle of each flame sensor is 60 degrees. So it is not direct, it is not vertical. So within 60 degrees it's able to detect. The motor drives it looks like that. So in our case we used the L298N, which is an integrated monolithic circuit in a 15 lead. It has 15 terminals, multi-watt and power SO20 packages. It is a high voltage, high current full bridge driver that is designed to accept standard of transistor logic levels. We also have the DC motor connected with that. We use the DC motor on the wheels that is able to drive or to make the wheels of that robot rotate. Either, for example, if the fire is on the left hand side, the wheel will rotate towards the left hand side to extinguish the fire. If the flame is detected on the right hand side of that robot, it will be able to rotate in that direction. And if it is vertically ahead of it, it will move forward or backwards. We also use a pump, a water pump. So the pump, it's small in size, but the size increases with the size of fire or as well as the size of the room where the Arduino or the robot is to be placed. So that pump uses 12 volt supply, current of that 33 amperes and flow rate of 4.0 liters per meter. It drives the wheels, that is the major purpose. We also have the temperature sensor to be used. The temperature sensor, its main purpose is to sense the temperature or to detect the amount of temperature within the area. So for example, if the temperature goes beyond 60 degrees, automatically it will detect that there is likelihood that there is something that is to burn or something such kind. So between 70 to 150 degrees, this robot is able to withstand that temperature. So if it was to extinguish fire in a highly hot area, once the temperature goes beyond 150 degrees, then it might not survive. But between 70 to 150 degrees, it's able to operate, and you know that is beyond human use. If you are to be faced, or if you are to go within a room which is highly hot, as extreme as 150, you are likely to die. So this temperature sensor can sense up to 150 degrees without burning out. And for the robot, if it was moving forward and it reaches a point where it is too hot, it will be able to either stop or go back to the original position so that it doesn't go into fire to get burnt. So it's calibrated directly in degrees Celsius, rated for negative 55 degrees to 150 degrees Celsius range. It operates from 4 volts to 30 volts, so depending on the sizes. Low self-heating, Then we also have another device that we're going to use, that is the ultrasonic sensor. That is able to sense the length, the distance from where the fire is. So for this purpose, we use HC ISR04. The working voltage is 5 volts DC. Static current of less than 2 milliamperes. It can detect fire or flame within 2 centimeters up to 450 centimeters. And then also that we are going to use a buzzer. For example, if there's a fire outbreak, before it even starts to extinguish, there's a kind of indicator, a buzzer. You find that if it's within a room, there will be some kind of vibration that alerts you that there's a fire outbreak, and so you can be able to take any action, either move out or call for help in case you're not sure if the fire will be extinguished. So the major software that we're going to use is the Arduino IDE 1.6.7. It has 12 pins, which number 1 up to 12. Then for programming, we used C++ programming language. And our result, you'll be able to go out there and see the actual device. We designed the fire detection system using flame sensor that is capable of sensing the flame. The robot can operate in the environment which is out of human reach in very short time. The delay employed is very minimal. It takes a very short time before it starts to operate. It's like immediately. The robot accurately and efficiently finds the fire, and within minimum time after the fire is detected, it is extinguished. We conclude by saying that fire causes tremendous damages and loss of human life and property. And in this on my paper, we have designed a firefighting robot which is to be controlled using microcontroller, Arduino Uno. The output of the sensors is given to the microcontroller board, and accordingly, the robot is operated successfully. And then future scope or the areas of implementation, we intend that we can use CO2 gas cylinders as well, because we have different classes of fire. So if you use CO2, due to its physical and chemical properties, CO2 is the most commonly used gas on board to extinguish fire during accidents. We can also use dry chemical powder. Dry chemical powder is discharged by pressure of nitrogen gas stored in bottles without other power source. So the dry chemical powder is not electrically conductive, and therefore it can be used to extinguish electrical fire incidences. We also intend to use foam. Foam has been used as a fire extinguishing medium for flammable and combustible liquids. So foam is made up of 3 ingredients, that is water, foam concentration, and air as well. We can also use high resolution zooming cameras so as to be able to detect the fire from the longest distance. So for now, what we have is using water to extinguish fire, that is majorly class A fire, and we also intend to improve it so that it can be able to carry all the 4 components, the CO2, the foam, and dry chemical powder, as well as indicate or incorporate a camera that is able to detect the length of the specific area of the fire output. So that is what we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Junior Betty. Even as we present, we'll do a round of comments, questions. So just note them down as they present. Once we have our 3 presenters done, then we'll do a panel of questions and answers from the presenters. Next, we are going to have Charles Stephen from the Kenya Coast coming with his presentation on integrating coastal marine biodiversity and ecosystem protection and blue economy at Judah Creek in Mombasa County. So our first presenter was an electrical, and now we are having a presentation on the blue economy. You see, we're having a diverse of presentations. So let's just see and pick from all of them.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Charles Stephen from Kenya Coast. I am studying topic integrating coastal marine biodiversity protection with blue economy at Judah Creek, Mombasa. I will start by dividing the terms as they are all coming together. Integrating is that means that you put separated units as one, to function as one. Integrating, putting different separated units to function as one. Now in my topic, I have coastal marine biodiversity. That is, coastal is that region area a few meters from the ocean toward the ocean. That is where we talk about coastal biodiversity. And marine is that some few meters from the ocean, now at the shores of the ocean to the deep sea. So that's why I'm talking about integrating coastal marine biodiversity and ecosystem protection to economy. Now when we talk about biodiversity. Biodiversity means different life forms, varieties of life, which exists within those areas I've mentioned. Now I am looking at that what I've already said, see how will happen in the project of blue economy. That is the economy within that ecosystems. When it is integrated together, will it function well for sustainability of livelihood for the communities who live within the coastal region. Now, my abstract is wide. At Judah Creek, we have that blue economy, that is fisheries. We have mangrove forests there, where people, the local communities, do harvest product from the ecosystem, nested between the mangrove, the ocean, the life forms, that is the fish, crabs, all the living organisms which live within that ecosystem. We have the mangroves, we have the coral reefs, we have the blue forest, which is the consistence of the mangrove, the coral reefs. That is called blue forest. And it is very rich forest for economic activities, for livelihoods. But my argument in the abstract is that if the resources are not used sustainably to be there over time, there will come a time where these resources will fall under a threat and will be no more there to sustain the livelihood. So that is where the point of integrating biodiversity protection with the economy which goes within that particular ecosystem. When we talk about protection of ecosystem, ecosystem is very, very fragile, especially the marine ecosystem and coastal ecosystem. When the ecosystem is not protected, it means that we will lose some of the living organisms, like the fish can disappear, the mangrove itself can disappear, and the community will not be able to sustain their livelihoods because there will be no enough fish, there will be no enough mangrove because they will be depleted. Depletion is where some organisms is no more there. You cannot get it when you need it. And these resources, when I say resources in this argument, is the fish, the coral reefs, the mangrove, integrated together with biodiversity where they do interact. If they are not protected well, we will come to get a time where the livelihood, the economic activities within that area will not be sustainable. Will not be sustainable. So my paper seeks to explore how the project, the blue economy, and biodiversity and ecosystem protection is interrelating to each other and how one can affect the other. Okay? So I want to look at the problem of statement. I will not waste a lot of time here because I have spent much in my introduction. At Tundapin now, where the research is focusing at, we have large 3 fisheries existing there. We have 3 fisheries which are small-scale fisheries. They are doing fishing. They are engaged in issues for mangrove conservation. They are engaged in issues of coral reef and management of this and beach management units, known as BMU. But the activities which are undertaken, they are not enough to protect the ecosystem, biodiversity, and all that nested ecosystem to be able to have the catch, the fish, and the mangrove to be able to sustain the economy for a long period of time. Because we say resources is sustainable only when they can be harvested and be there to be used by the present generation and be able to be there to benefit the future generation. Now that is where we are focusing. Because of most of the human activities taking place there is forestation, that is cutting the mangroves, there is overfishing, using fishing method is to exploit the fish, catching even the small fish, using fishing method to destroy the ecosystem. The ecosystem, that the the forest, that life forms in that area because of the poor fishing activities which are not ecologically friendly. Now, that is why my research seeks to see how far this is happening and how are the policies being put in place influencing the protection of biodiversity. Okay? That is what I'm talking about. This is mangrove forest. This forest, this tree, known as mangrove, can only grow in the sea, around the sea, inside the sea, submerging the large water. And I think you can agree with me that this water is saline. It has a lot of salt. No other tree can emerge and survive there. We have a large biodiversity under this forest. So if this ecosystem is not protected, we will miss a lot of life form, varieties of life form. I think you can see there is a couple there. we have crabs there, we have fish there, but this forest is being treated in a high rate because the bamboo plant is used for building. It's a very good tree for building. It has a medicinal value where the local communities cut these trees to use for their economic purposes, maybe building, even firewood. So if the bamboo is not protected, we are going to lose a lot of biodiversity because it protects the life form under large area. The fish itself lays the eggs under the bamboo hooks inside there. The same time the bamboo has its defense mechanism for times like when we have the high tides coming, to protect that water from going to the land and integrating the land back to the sea. Even in times of tsunami, it is in the record that bamboo areas where there were bamboo, there were no huge damage because the bamboo package is a defense for that. So protection of this ecosystem is very, very important. And at the same time, on issues of climate change, mangrove tree can fix carbon dioxide 3 times. Can fix and store carbon dioxide 3 times than terrestrial plant. So the issues of climate change, for storing carbon dioxide, emitting absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and storing it, which is a good plant in issues of mitigating climate change effects. Okay? My research objectives were based on these 4 items. First, I was looking at the impact of coastal marine biodiversity and ecosystem degradation on Judah Creek Blue economy. The impact. How is this affecting the income? How is the impact of marine biodiversity to affect this project? Number 2, to establish the influence of existing policies for blue economy projects on coastal marine ecosystems. This is where I was looking at the existing policies, structures which are in place. How do they influence the protection of the ecosystems and biological diversity under these regions? Then number 3, I was to investigate how local communities' livelihood is supported through the project. Because the local community has to benefit from the project as well as to own the project in light of conservation of the ecosystem. Then the last one is to assess the relationship between coastal marine ecosystem and biodiversity integration linked to sustainability of community livelihood. So that is what the research aims to explore. The research questions. I add to those questions targeting the community groups which are existing within that Judah Creek, also the fishermen who are within those fisheries which are existing there. Number 2, the members and how do they contribute towards the ecosystem and biodiversity protection. Then I had some 2 questions for the stakeholders, that is the Kenya Forest and the Kenya Forest. The question number 3 goes to the Kenya Forest. Those are the people who has that mandate of reinforcing the policies which are existing to see how how they are doing it, and at which extent the community is getting the policies being implemented in the same area. Then number 4 is the capacity of mangrove forests, coral reefs, and ecosystem protection within that particular process. These questions were going to the community itself, and those people who are doing fishing. Most of them also come within that community. Then the last question was, how will the Kenya fisheries support community livelihood, coastal marine ecosystem, and biodiversity protection in Chuka Creek? Kenya fisheries is a sector which is much involved on issues of fisheries. So I had to get a take on the same. Coastal marine ecosystem and biodiversity goods and services. These are the benefits that we get from these ecosystems. Okay? I will not talk about it because I've explained much in my introduction. You can see that we have that blue forest ecosystems. Blue forest, that forest I've talked about. It goes deeper to the deep sea where we have coral reefs. We are very rich, a lot of diversity, including fish. And it is likened with the rainforest which we have. We have a lot of resources which even they are already not tapped for the economic use. That within that blue forest, especially the coral reefs in that area. So also the mangrove trees, I've said, is also plays another big role. Apart from being the habitat areas for the fish, it also plays a big role in carbon sequestration. That is fixing and storing carbon from the atmosphere, which means what? It mitigates the impact and effect of climate change, which is a threat to them globally. It's a global threat nowadays. Also, when we have these coastal marine ecosystem protected, being there over time, we are guaranteed of food security because there is a lot of varieties within that ecosystems. This is what I'm talking about. I think there is no other tree that can survive in such an environment. It's mangrove forest. I think you can see some activities people are there, about somewhere there. This tree is very, very unique. It has a very high capacity of fixing carbon dioxide because of its nature. The leaves, the roots, that kind of it. And it's only the trees which can survive in this such environment. Importance of integration. Now, I have come to this issue of integration, where we are talking about putting separate units to become one as one unit and function together. So when we integrate biodiversity protection and fisheries, that is blue economy, is taking place in this region, then it means that the protection of the ecosystems, the mangroves, the coral reefs, and the life forms, the varieties of life forms within that area will be protected. Then, on the other hand, you'll have outcome in terms of what? Economic activities, which will improve the living standard of the community around there. Okay? At the same time, I am looking at the issue of, that's bullet number 3, the issue of economic development versus conservation, protection of the ecosystems. within the waters of the sea, the ocean. Because most of the pollution, degradation of this good environment which are fragile comes mainly from the mainland, coming to the ocean. So this thing is very important if it is factored in, because 80% of the population loads goes down to the ocean, maybe by the service runoff, maybe by the people themselves depositing the waste without being treated to the sea, and it affects these fragile ecosystems which are very important for economic sustenance. I think you can see that picture. Whatever you see down here, it's pollution. This thing does not come from the sea, but comes from the mainland. And these are all human activities, which can be controlled by having good structures, good policies in place to control this. Now, when you look at these things in that particular place, I've talked about biological diversity which exists there. When they are there, they are disrupting that biodiversity, they are destroying that ecosystem, because ecosystem, when those units, when they are bundled together, one is removed, others are affected. So we may miss a lot of fish, we may miss also the mangrove, and in future we may not have enough catch, that is fish, which can sustain the communities around. Even the entire place can be affected, because many people won't depend on that economic activity on their livelihood. Okay. In this point, we are looking at now the practices taking place in the ecosystem, also harvesting the goods and services which emanates from the coastal and marine ecosystem, including the fish. We have a lot of overfishing and sustainable fishing pairs, where people are getting a lot of fish which does not yield to the amount of catch. I think when people do fish and get the small ones, not yet mature, they will have a lot of catch, but it does not yield equal to what they have harvested from the sea. So that's why we talk about sustainable harvesting, sustainable ecosystem, sustainable harvesting the fish for community, sustainable livelihood. You can see this. That's fish. I think you agree with me when you count the number of those fish. And if they are given time to grow, maybe like 4 to 6 months, this can yield a lot. Is it so? Yeah. So this is because of using those nets which are not biocentric nets, the same using fishing pairs which are not ecologically friendly, and we may exploit these resources. Okay. Now this is the area of the integration, and we say the livelihood is sustainable only when the resources can be there and be utilized over a period of time, and the present generation will benefit from the resources. Now we have a very good framework which the research is looking at integrating the economic activities at Judakil together with ecosystem protection. Sustainable livelihood framework, which combines the two. It has a good mechanism to analyze the areas where the vulnerability is arising within the community, and it analyzes the stress and the shocks within the resources. This is how the technical framework will help to integrate the two activities: social capital, natural capital, physical capital, and financial capital. They are all brought out as an aspect which most of the communities do lack at their side. Then when this sustainable livelihood framework incorporates the biodiversity protection, fishery on these other areas, then we will have our natural capital be protected, and it will be there to supply environmental or ecosystem goods and services for a long period of time. I think I'll not talk about that much because I explained earlier. Interventions. Interventions in this these are the interventions of that project. I think to my right there, my left side, you can see the capital assets, which are human activities, natural resources, social resources, physical resources, financial resources. Then on the other side, you can see the livelihood outcomes, that is sustainable use of natural resources, the income, well-being of the community, vulnerability, and food security and trust. Then the other side, you'll see the strategies. We need to have strategies to be able to balance the capital assets for us to get outcomes and livelihood activities. Okay? The issues which the research is looking at is vulnerability, is the shocks, seasonalities, and critical trends within that system. Then actions to counteract the challenges. So, number one, we can do this only when we have developed good policies to address the issues, integrating the protection of biodiversity and at the same time addressing the local community livelihood. In putting those things together, function together in that ecosystem and biodiversity protection. Then at the same time, these policies, when they come into place, they will also bring that essence of the community to be able to own the project of protection, that is biodiversity protection and ecosystem management. When they own the project, they handle the project as their own, and you have a good sustainable project and good sustainable fisheries taking place where we have ecosystems not being degraded. Now, research methodology, research design. This research adopted this strategy because I wanted to integrate the components of the study and in a logical way to include framework that supports the researcher in collecting the data, analyzing the data in order to achieve study goals and provide answers to research questions. This study adopted exploratory research designed to effectively explore the impact of coastal marine ecosystems and biodiversity degradation on community livelihood sustainability in rural economy, fisheries, and geographies. The purpose was I wanted to have research design which will collect all the variables at one time and get a deeper understanding and provide conclusion for the interventions. The research, that's an definition of that. I will not explain that, but this research used qualitative and descriptive technique to collect and analyze data accurately and systematically describe the population, situation, phenomena that is cited from that. The scope, area of the study. This study used a qualitative and descriptive approach conducted in Junda Creek, targeting and to establish the influence of existing policies for Junda Blue Economy Project and coastal marine ecosystem biological diversity protection to investigate the local community livelihood and how it is supported through the benefits which accrue from the project, to assess relationship between coastal marine ecosystems and biodiversity degradation and suitability of community livelihood in Junda Creeks. This is captured in the objectives. So, to be able to get the data, I targeted to have 210 community members, which is 70% of the whole data. Stakeholders 90, which is 30% of the whole data, which is 300. Targeted population. Facing my sampling procedure, I used this formula where I arrived at 172 data size. 172 data size. Data collection. The study adopted primary data. I used questionnaires and all of them were 5. They were administered. That is asking questions directly to the respondents. Then in that area I had the fishermen who are in the fisheries being part of the respondents who gave the answered the questionnaires. These are data analysis. The questionnaires were coded related to each research objective to ensure that data processing can be carried out smoothly and tabled with percentages, frequency, distribution to allow full interpretation. Found in coastal marine, who are in the coastal marine ecosystems, and not go to the anyone outside the Junda Creek lying within that ecosystem. So I found there are 3 small-scale fisheries within that particular Junda Creek fisheries. That is blue economy based on that area, Junda Creek. So the questionnaires came from there, and the data was analyzed. I think you can see the names of the 3 small-scale fisheries. We have Jas Marine, it's just next to the Nyeri Beach, somewhere there, Boyan and Junda Mission. So all this data, after collecting the data was analyzed. The data was collected by collecting this data and presenting the data. I used the random sampling to administer questionnaires. Then I used that technique adopted from that out there. Then data collected also focused some institutions, that is Kenya Fisheries, Kenya Forest. Then after that, Qualitative data was reviewed, explored, and recorded. Then quantitative data from the surveys were organized using SPSS software version 20 and analyzed using descriptive statistics and presented using graphs. Then okay. There is a slide I was looking at, which is giving the findings. Through the data analysis, the 28.2 in the data sampled and analyzed responded on the issues of marine ecosystem protection, and most of the questions were answered, and 28% responded that there is lack of enough years, enough skills and knowledge on issues of ecosystem and biodiversity management. The same, they talked about lack of support on the community livelihood, which is hindering the progress of ecosystem biodiversity integration with the blue economy. The 72.8% talked about the issues of community livelihood and poor or structures on and policies on marine ecosystem management, ecosystem protections not being in place and implemented. The reason is there is no close monitoring by the institutions. Some of the policies have gaps. Even the community people do not even understand better. Mostly what is done is reinforcement of something which is not conversant to them. That's the slide, I missed it here on findings. Sorry for that. Then conclusion. Sustainable livelihood framework helps to organize the factors that enhance livelihood opportunities and shows how they relate to one another. I think that one is back pictured. So when this is integrated with the community livelihood, that is fisheries within this ecosystem, then we may have sustainable income. We may have sustainable economic activity in that particular region, in that particular ecosystem. We will have our blue forests protected, we will have our coastal and marine biodiversity protected, and at the other side we will have outcome, which is sustainable livelihood. We achieved. Number two, the livelihood aspect which the poor must often make trades of and choices about comprised of human capital, social capital, natural capital, and physical, financial capital. So, to put emphasis on that, the effect of integration of blue economy with coastal marine ecosystem and biodiversity protection fisheries will support greenhouse gas sequestration. That is one thing which will come out when these ecosystems are protected. And I have said earlier, through my literature review, that mangrove forests supports fixes and stores carbon dioxide 10 times compared to terrestrial land. And one mangrove alone can fix and store 0.3 tons of carbon dioxide in its lifetime. That is documented, decided in my paper. So this is some of the things which we see the research is coming out clearly. Coastal ecosystems such as marshes, ingrass, this and this absorb carbon dioxide. This issue will do what? Will address issues of climate change, which is a global issue. The last thing, over the years, the issue of population is the one is also mostly affecting this fragile ecosystem, which needs policies to be put in place to counteract the same. Like we have seen in our literature review, we have seen that land emanated pollution disrupting the ecosystem, which we have said is very important for sustaining the blue economy and the livelihood in that particular community. Recommendation, yes, I wind up. The research recommends for integration of community livelihood activities with coastal marine ecosystem and biodiversity protection within the three small-scale fisheries. This is targeting at that particular place where the research was done. The same thing can be replicated in the other areas which do have the same ecosystems and the same activities. Number three, community livelihood initiated biodiversity and ecosystem protection program needs to be developed in Juda fisheries through empowering the community, ecosystem protection. This includes cash for work program. That's what I say, students. It has been used by CARE 1999. Cash for work. That is, you do this kind of maybe beach cleaning, planting mangroves, doing sustainable work in this ecosystem, then you are given students in that program for cash for work. Lastly, in addition to this, the Kenya Forests, Kenya Fisheries, the county government, together with the national government, needs to empower the community on knowledge, skills, and capacity to deal with the coastal marine ecosystems and biodiversity protection for austerity of blue economy. Those are the references, acknowledgements. Then that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Chano from the Coast. I will have our next presenter, Achuodo Humphrey from Riyadh. Continue noting down your comments, your questions, which we'll have right after the next presentation.
Good morning. My name is Achuodo Humphrey from Ramogi Jaramogi Institute of Advanced Technology. And I would like to thank Kialo for that elaborate presentation and softly spoken. It's a very nice one. And it is also encouraging to see a female engineer presenting on what is related to what I'm going to present. They normally say what a man can do, a woman can do better. I don't know whether that say exists only in churches only, or it also exists in engineering fields. So my topic is the relationship between selected predictors and the choice of mathematics-related courses among female students in technical training institutes in Western region of Kenya. Mathematics-related courses, what I mean by that in this study are the engineering courses which are in technical training institutes. That is what the study dwells in. And then TTIs combines all the TVET institutions which are offering engineering courses. Decision is for an individual. Everybody has a decision to make when it comes to making choices. And so it is at an individual level, so that you select the available options. When normally I'm a mechanical engineering trainer, and when I go to class, I always meet men only. Let me say male students only in the class. If I teach a class of 50, they are all men. There are no female students. And when I go to teach, maybe I also teach in a refrigeration and air conditioning. I go there to teach mathematics. I only find men and maybe one female student only. So it's likely there is a serious underrepresentation of female students in engineering courses. And this is similar to other countries like Malaysia, Spain, Italy, South Africa, Malawi. They all talk of representation of female students in mathematics-related fields. This has not left Kenya also aside. There is underrepresentation of female students in mathematics-related courses. And the government even used an affirmative action to enroll students in these courses, but still you find that the gap is still very big. Also, they introduced performance constructing target, which is the gender target for mainstreaming the gender in the public sector. You find that the female students are still few, and the majority of students who join TTIs, they opt out of taking these mathematics-related courses for their careers. You may find them in food and beverage, body modeling, textiles, where there is basic mathematics that they do. But when it comes to these engineering courses, you find that they are not there to represent the others fully. And so the study is to explore the relationship between these selected predictors and the choice of mathematics-related courses in TTIs. The objectives that I have are three. One is to explore the relationship between anxiety and choice of mathematics-related courses among TTIs. The other one is the relationship between attitude and choice of mathematics-related courses. Another one is to establish the relationship between peer influence and the choice of mathematics-related courses. The methodology, I used a mixed method approach that employed the concurrent triangulation research design with a target population of 1440 female students and 15 deans of students from 15 technical training institutes in Western region of Kenya. And the study used interview schedule and questionnaire as the main instruments for data collection, and it was analyzed using descriptive and inferential for quantitative and qualitative. I analyzed using thematic analysis. This is the sample size, how it is. TTIs, I sampled 4 using convenience sampling. The female students, I used Brixey and Morgan formula. And I also sampled female students who passed mathematics in secondary and taking mathematics related courses, those who are 4, using purposive sampling, and also those who passed but are not taking mathematics related courses, also 4 using purposive sampling. Also deans of students were 4 using purposive sampling. The findings, each objective had its own questionnaire, and the table is so long that I could not put it here, the whole of it, but I just selected a few of the responses. This one is a quantitative analysis, descriptively analyzed. It was noted that 2/3 of the respondents at 64.2% agreed with this statement that they chose their mathematics related courses because mathematics was interesting in secondary. And we found that those with better academic performance in secondary exhibited more positive attitude towards mathematics than those with low performance. They tend to shy away and then they leave that choice. And we also, the study also found that over half of the respondents at 52% supported the statement that they chose their mathematics related courses because they liked mathematics while they were in secondary schools. This one shows that positive attitudes will lead you to a high confidence level and is a measure of achievement in mathematics. The students feel they are capable of overcoming most of the difficulties that are experienced in the subject, and hence they will perform better or they will choose the course. And then majority at 50 disagreed with that they understood content in mathematics course. Only 18% remained neutral in this statement. And again, majority of the respondents at 52.0, 56.6, 50.9 and 54.5 each support the statement that they believed they could learn well in a mathematics course, complete all the assignments in a mathematics course, and also were good in mathematics and were able to use mathematics in their career when needed respectively. Majority at 60.6% strongly agreed that the statement they got tensed whenever they heard of mathematics related courses. This result revealed that mathematics anxiety is limiting and negatively influences students' future career choices, especially in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics majors, that is the STEM. In summary, because I used a hypothesis, when now I was testing the hypothesis using the inferential statistics, I found that it shows that there is a strong negative relationship between anxiety among female students and the choice of mathematics-related courses, which was statistically significant. Therefore, I rejected the null hypothesis and accepted the alternative hypothesis. Also found that in the objective number 2, there was a strong positive relationship between positive attitude and the choice of mathematics-related courses, which was statistically significant. Therefore, this one also rejected the null hypothesis, and the alternative hypothesis was accepted. Also, there was a strong positive relationship between peer influence and the choice of mathematics-related courses, which was also statistically significant, and the null hypothesis was rejected, and the alternative hypothesis was accepted. Also in qualitative, because it was a mixture of quantitative and qualitative, some interview responses that I sampled, because it was very long, I only sampled a few. During the interview session with deans of students, it was noted that students' attitude plays a crucial role in learning and achievement in mathematics-related courses, hence determines the students' success in these courses. In general, the conception students hold about mathematics determines how they approach mathematics tasks, leading them to either productive or non-productive orientations. This one was also corroborated with that of one of the female students representative who were not taking mathematics-related courses during the interview. She confirmed that favorable attitude should be created and fostered due to the fact that there is a common belief that positive attitude, the liking for, interest in the subject can lead to greater effort to higher achievement. And this were confirmed by studies which were previously done by Getange and Sangwe 2016 and Jerry 2013. They did the studies in Kenya, which they reported that parental anxiety, attitude, peers, and sibling influence affected students as they made career choices. In conclusion, the study concluded that the more mathematics anxious the female students would be, the less likely they would choose a mathematics-related courses or the engineering courses which we have in Tibet. And then it also concluded that the more positive attitude on mathematics related courses the female students have, the more likely they would choose a mathematics related course. And finally, it was also concluded that as peer influence increases, there is high likelihood that the female students would be influenced in their choice of mathematics related courses. And therefore the study recommended that the Ministry of Education, teachers and parents should ensure that students obtain the right attitude towards mathematics, as this will help in improving their performance in mathematics related courses and dislodge the negative attitude that is characterized by failure in a career. The learners should also be able to understand the need for a commitment to be fully engaged and to be willing to embrace logic behind every success in mathematics-related courses so as to acquire the necessary knowledge and skills in their future careers. It was also recommended that the career guidance in schools be enhanced to create awareness on the career decisions and career decision making without emphasizing on peer influence. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chuono. Can we have the presenters who just presented to come at the front here for your comments, questions? Virginia Betty, Mr. Chano. So at this moment, I'd like like to invite questions, comments from the plenary. From the three presentations, we had the first one from Engineer Betty, where we had the robotic fire extinguisher. We also had from, I think Mr. Luciano is out. So we have our brother, Children here, who's talked about the set programs, mathematics, the anxiety that the female students have. So I invite your questions, comments.
Thank you for presentation. I think I got the last presenter doing his presentation. Therefore, based on that, I will only make a comment on his work. The first comment and good one is that you had a very organized presentation, which is well put in slides, and which is actually we can be able to follow as the audience. That's very good. Then I'm just looking at the work, which also was very okay. The concept of affirmative action it has been carried out by the various institutions from the government itself, doing that affirmative action to ensure that the STEM field is being filled by the female students, and I like the idea by way of there. Now, my question, not question, but what if you did consider to suggest a policy brief? What will need to be? What is that that your data can inform, so that to have a good policy brief, so that we can be able to entrench that in it. So again, based on the recommendation you have given, in fact, they're saying that we should instill the positive attitude towards the mathematics. So how will you recommend that into a policy so that the government can be able to implement that? And again, another question, do you consider to put this work in a policy brief in future?
Thank you. My name is Anthony. I also want to thank the presenters for the good work they've done. I was particularly interested in the robotic firefighting system by Engineer Betty. And I want to comment as follows. I don't get clearly statement of problem, especially given that this system already in the market. I wanted to hear specific solutions that this particular system is going to provide that has not been provided by similar systems that already in the market.
We have the contributions at the front.
Thank you. My concern about the planning center. One of the recommendations is about teachers and parents guiding the young child to blended mathematics courses or mathematical courses. We know from our background that some of them are very good mathematicians. People don't like maths, including parents. If you go throughout Kenya, you find that maybe a quarter of parents can talk about maths. 3/4, you know. Is it practical that somebody doesn't understand mathematics and encourage a young girl to venture into mathematics? That's what I'm wondering about, that recommendation of parents encouraging girls to venture into mathematical courses.
Well, I think I did not get Madam Betty's presentation. I'm asking. We talked about accelerated religions, and I saw a very strong leaning towards attitudes. I just wanted to know what informed your selection and why selected. I was there in Irigodata. to inform you on what predictors to use. And then just for information, in terms of that discussion, when we are at the discussion section of our presentations, we expect it to be meshed. We use our findings and the empirical data which we got at the literature review level. Nothing new coming in. You are looking at what you found out at literature review and using that to justify or not justify your findings in that discussion area. So we talk about that, but maybe it's something to talk about how we have such. Thank you.
You consider the sensors for heat, flame, but I didn't hear you talk about anything about smoke. Because when most fires, first you might see it as smoke. Then again, we have different classes of fire. As like you're saying, you just considered only for water. But I was thinking, how can we bring up a system where that we have a robot that can sense different types of classes of fire, and it is loaded with all the different data for water, for carbon dioxide, so that it be able to sense, because these other ones that are singularly made for a certain fire already exist. So I just want to think about those. If your target actually is to put off a fire, though if you only consider heat and flame, you may end up putting up a fire, a big place has already been burnt down. We don't consider about this more, unless it's eliminated. Thank you.
Do you have any other comments, questions? I know we have our trainees here. What have we seen that we'd like to inquire? Whatever bit we had, feel free to ask your questions at this moment. So we'll have our presenters react to your questions and comments and start with you, Engineer Betty.
Thank you. So the first question was from Mr. Kennedy, who said that I should have given the specific, I should give or say the specific solution that the system will provide. The robotic system that we have, initially we had, in mind, I had in mind to design a robot that is able to extinguish all the classes of fire, one that has the water on it, CO2 as well as foam. But as per my presentation today was based on whatever I've designed, whatever I've designed as at now. Because of little time or lack of funds, I wasn't able to design that one that has the 3 components. But that was the main idea. So by today's presentation was based on whatever, the outcome of whatever I've made which is there for exhibition. It's only using water to extinguish fire. I would have wished to beg one that incorporates all, and that's why I gave in the declaration part that we should have all. I intend to make it better by using both CO2 to extinguish the electric fire, one that can also be able to extinguish chemical or flammable, the fire caused by flammable materials like chemicals, and the ecological fire that can be extinguished by water. So the one that we use, or the one that designed that uses water, can be used especially in the households. We've seen that in Kenya still there are a number of instances of fire that happens. You find that women or people leave their children in the house, and by one way or another, you find the house gets burned and the lights are lost, especially for sick children. So if you have such kind of devices, they are small in size, you can put them in your household, either in the kitchen or if it is a single room, put it somewhere such that if it senses flame or starting from smoke, and when there is flame, it detects and automatically automatically starts to extinguish the fire. So the appropriate place to use them is in households. For now, the ones that have used to save more lives so that we don't lose lives in case or before the firefighters arrive. Then when we make the larger ones that has all the three components, we can commercialize them and sell them. And I think even the firefighting company can buy them so that when they're going to put out fire, they're able to carry even these robots to help them out. As they concentrate on one side, they're able to place these other robots in the different areas to help them extinguish fire without the human involvement. So you put them, for example, if it is a fire in a field that is burning, and you have like 5 robots put across that is having fire, you'll be able to set off that fire faster than if you're using just one vehicle to put off the fire. You know it is costly to have like 5 vehicles driving to one place. It is so costly. So that will save the cost as well. And my second question was that I talked of temperature sensors and flame sensors. Actually, we have the three. From the smoke sensor, smoke starts to get off. You know that where there is smoke, there is fire. So it should first sense the smoke, gets ready, and then if there is flame that comes out, then it will be ready to extinguish the fire automatically without any human involvement. So that was the vision. It's there. We have it.
Yes, I would like to start with the last question from Dr. He was asking why he selected. The factors are so many, the predictors are very many that I would not be able to do in one study. So by selecting, I was able to explore on each very well. I think I can answer you that way.
Because I think that itself is a value. What informs, so you have to see, you such a predictor. There's another predictor that predicts. That's what I was thinking, that's okay.
Okay. And then there was another one on how to encourage young girls to like mathematics. When I was in high school, there was a teacher who was teaching us mathematics. And he used to come to class, the first statement you make is maths is sweet. And maths is easy. Maths is simple. That alone encouraged many, and you find in that class almost 100% passed mathematics. Because he was instilling that good attitude in us so that we like this mathematics. So your statement as a parent or as a teacher in class, you will find that it will encourage one or two to like what you are doing. And again, the first one was policy building. Give me an opportunity to include these ones in a policy, and it is possible.
Thank you so much. Maybe I would also just like to add something, especially in the issues of the set subjects, mathematics. I'm also very passionate on that subject. I'm actually a member of the WITED chapter here at Kisumu National Polytechnic, and that is something we are really, and we have seen strides to have girls enroll in set courses, even here at the institution. What I was just wondering, because anxieties came out very big in your presentation, I don't know what recommendation or how your study found out that we can calm that anxiety. Because anxiety, to me, is a feeling which is, like Dr. was talking about other predictors. What also promotes to that? Is there something that you found out? Because it came out very high. I saw a 60% and something like that. Just a brief comment before we continue.
I may not have a comment in that, but I will think about it.
Thank you so much. I think we all have that responsibility. Thank you, our panelists. We may take back our seats. We all have a responsibility in all these studies that you're doing with all these researchers that we have here to help come up, to help pick up the findings, pick up the recommendations, and even work with them. Because I know even as we are seated here, we all have the influence, be it as a trainer, influence on the trainees, and even the trainees themselves for our siblings back at home, or even back in our community. We can also influence with some of these things that we have learned here and the recommendations that we get. So thank you very much for this session. I would like to take a health break at this juncture. For our health break, we'll have our visitors, our presenters, our staff. We'll take breakfast to my right. And for our trainees, we have another tent down there where we may go and have our breakfast. We'll take a 20-minute break, then we'll come back to have the next set of presentations. I want to pray for the breakfast, so may we all rise. Thank you, Lord, for the food that you've set before us. May you bless it, and may you bless even those who do not have anything to take at the moment. For it is in Jesus' name I've prayed and believed. Amen. Bon appetit. We will have Mr. Stephen Ochieng Otieno from Mawego TTI. He'll be presenting on determinants of modern contraceptive prevalence and unplanned pregnancies in Homa Bay County. He'll be followed by Joy Ajwang from the Kisumu National Polytechnic. Madam Joy, wherever you are, please come into the hall. Joy Ajwang will be giving a presentation on effects of Airbnb listings, price differentials and price dispersion of star-rated hotels in Nairobi, Kenya. And after Joy, we'll have Mr. Obondo from the Kisii National Polytechnic, who will be presenting on making agriculture attractive to youths, a case study of youth on agricultural enterprises in Kisii County. So those who are still out there, kindly make haste, come back into the hall so that we may be able to critique and improve the presentations that we have at this session. So let's have Mr. Stephen Ochieng start.
Everyone, or at least an individual, has interacted with this kind of family planning. And we are familiar with what it entails. I do want to say that family planning is a method in which helps the individuals to predict the amount of children they want to have and even to get the children at the time that they want the planning that you have. So I'm saying that it has several effects in reducing, and as of 2015, it was noted that nearly 190 million women globally of reproductive age did not utilize contraception. And when we look at the period of the MDG, that is the Millennium Development Goals, between 1990 and 2015, it was estimated that the global contraceptive prevalence had increased from 55% to 64%. However, apart from the improvements, we have seen has been seen equally. It has not been equal in all the regions of the world. And when we look at the sub-Saharan Africa, where Kenya is found, we can say that the contraceptive prevalence has been the same over a period of time, and the rate of improvement in terms of utilization of contraceptives has been very slow. And when we look at the 2015, the contraceptive prevalence in sub-Saharan African region was only at 18.4%. And when you look at the rural and the urban setup, you find that when you look at the low economic setting communities across Africa, they tend to have a lower contraceptive uptake as compared to the more resourced urban areas. So when we look at Kenya as one of the countries in sub-Saharan Africa, it has had a slow but steady increase in contraceptive prevalence, increasing from 32% in 2003 to an estimated 59% nationally, that was in 2019, and exceeding the national targets. So when you look at the 2014 Kenya Demographic Health Survey, urban areas have reported a 56 contraceptive prevalence compared to a high of only 50% in rural areas. So additionally, when you look at the disparities from the regions in Kenya, you find that it ranges from a low of 3.4% in the northeastern region to 38.3% in the coastal region, and to high uptake that was witnessed in at a range of 64% and 67% in both eastern and central regions respectively. That is according to the Kenya Demographic Health Survey. So Homa Bay County had reported a contraceptive prevalence of the rate of 44% and almost 15% behind the national average. So we have a map that shows where the study was done, that is in Rango sub-county, with the given 4 wards that was used as where we got the households that form the part of this survey. So we look at the study objectives. So the first objective that we sought to was to determine the contraceptive usage in Rango sub-county, Homa Bay County. We also wanted to investigate the types of contraceptives that is used in Rango sub-county, Homa Bay County. We also wanted to determine the prevalence of reported and planned pregnancies. So when you look at the methodology, so this study was conducted in Rango sub-county. This is one of the sub-counties in Homa Bay County. And the constituency for Chia, Game East and Game West. So when you look at the study design, we use a retrospective cross-sectional study design where we used to obtain data from all the households within the 4 wards of Rango sub-county, and for the purpose of determining the status of health, socioeconomic, and education metrics of this population. So when you look at cross-sectional study, this is a type of observational study that involves data collection from a population or a representative subset at one specific point in time. And we also used hospital records and the KDHS records for the purpose of secondary data for this study. So when you look at the sampling technique, so the households that formed part of our study were selected using a random cluster sampling technique. Then we also went ahead and used proportional stratified sampling to give all households an equal chance of selection despite differing population densities within the sub-county in our area of study. Then we also looked at the monthly data on contraceptive uptake, which was collected twice a week for a period of 24 months, that is between the year 2019 and 2020. Multivariable logistic regression was used to model determinants of contraceptive use and reported unplanned pregnancy. Then odds ratio with 95% confidence intervals were also reported. Then the significant level for all tests was two-sided and set at 0.05. Then all analyses were performed using STARTM, that is version 14.2, to give us the results. So let us look at some of the results, findings that came in. So when you look at the total of 3,642 female household heads who provided responses to questions that related to contraceptive usage across the 5 analysis regions surveyed were included in this analysis. So out of this, we find that roughly 91% were between the ages of 18 to 39 years, and the vast majority, at 76%, reported being in a married monogamous relationship. So more than 93% of respondents reported being one of the 4 religions, that is Catholic at 15%, the SPA at 39%, Protestant 23%, and also Raw at 16%. Then only 92%, that is 2.5% of the sample households surveyed had grade 4 or less of education. So when you look at overall 2,302, that is 63% of the respondents reported that they were currently using some form of contraception. So the contraceptive prevalence was highest in West Game at 79%, with all other regions being consistent between 58 to 65%. The contraceptive prevalence was between 66 to 70% for ages between 25 to 39, followed by 56% for those aged between 18 to 24, and then it dropped off for those older than the age of 40. So the household heads had reported that those that reported that they were never been married or divorced had the lowest proportion of contraception utilization at roughly 46% and 33% respectively. So those following the Islamic religion had the lowest contraceptive prevalence at only 43%, and those with a grade 4 education or less had the lowest proportion at roughly 49%. So when we look at the second objective and the type of contraceptive used as shown in the graph, when we look at the distribution of contraception used among female household heads, the study indicated that majority of women used implants at 47%, which was followed closely by injectables at 38%. We also have IUD, condom, and pills were at 9 and 3% respectively. When we talk of all others, when we talk of all others in this study, we are referring to all those forms including the use of female condom, female sterilization, lactation amenorrhea, breathing method, withdrawal, and any other traditional method that the respondents reported to be using that were not part of those that were indicated in our tool. So when you look at the prevalence of reported and planned pregnancies, so the proportion of females reporting and planned pregnancy was highest among those aged between the age of 18 to 24%, that was representative of 48%, while all other categories were consistent between 31 to 37%. And when we looked at the marital status of female who reported that they were never married or were in a cohabiting relationship, 80% each reported their last pregnancy as being unplanned. So this was followed by divorced females at 60%. Proportions of unplanned pregnancies by religion were fairly consistent across all the religious groups, ranging between 26 to 41%, with Islam, Lady Maria, and Rojo. So those who reported no religious affiliation, those who were not affiliated to any religion that we had 50% or slightly above. The proportions of unplanned pregnancy were also similar across education level achieved, that was at between 30 to 40%, and the proportion of unplanned pregnancy by region was consistent for Kochia, East Game, and West Game, being between 43 to 47%, while lower proportions were seen in Kagan at 34%. So in the discussion, so when we looked at the overall prevalence of contraceptive uptake in our study population, it was high at 63%, higher than what had been reported in the literature for Kenya as a whole and other regions in sub-Saharan Africa. So several population-based studies conducted in the last year have reported the prevalence of contraceptive use among women of reproductive age in sub-Saharan Africa at only 17%, though large variations existed across different countries in the sub-Saharan Africa. So the higher prevalence of reported contraceptive utilization in the study may have resulted from focused family planning interventions in the region since 2016, because we witnessed a lot of non-governmental organizations that had come up with different interventions on family planning for the women of reproductive age. You can take LVCT for an example, an NGO that works there, and ECPAF had also worked on the same across the sub-county. So this one could be one of the reasons why there was high prevalence, because of the interventions that were being done by these organizations. Then when we looked at the younger age groups, we found that contraceptive prevalence was high overall, ranging between 56 and 70% for females between the age of 18 to 39 years, and then dropping off after the age of 40 years. However, among younger age groups, being 18 to 24, being of 18 to 24 years was significantly associated with a lower likelihood of contraception utilization compared to the females aged between 25 to 34, where we had a p-value of less than 0.001. So we found that it was highly significant. So this study, when we compared it with other studies that have been done, we found that when we looked at the Zambian Demographic Health Survey of 2018, we found there's similar results between the female of reproductive age between 15 and 24. They had a lower proportion of current contraceptive utilization as compared to women who were between the age of 25 to 39, with the proportion falling after the age of 40, as we had said. So when we looked at implants and injectables, these were the most utilized method of contraception for our study population overall. One's choice of contraceptive method used was based on a variety of factors. We had several factors, for example, the personal preferences, the culture, and several others. And this we found would make the results differ from region to region and even from country to country. And when we look at it, in contrast to contraceptive prevalence, we found that the population prevalence of unplanned pregnancy for our study population was roughly 37%. And as we had mentioned, the reported unplanned pregnancies were highest among the age of 18 to 24, while other age groups reported the rate of unplanned pregnancies between 31 to 37%. So to conclude, found that this study found that there was overall high levels of contraceptive utilization among female household heads in the surveyed areas of rural Western Kenya compared to the national estimates. So this study results identified increased contraceptive prevalence for those aged between 18 to 24, those over 40 years, and those who reported having never been married. The most preferred methods of contraception were implants and injectables. And when we looked at unplanned pregnancies, it was highest among young female, while also being highest in those reported to have never been married. So some of the recommendations that we had, we said that there is need for family planning programs to tailor the interventions with a focus on those at highest risk for low contraceptive uptake. Then the study findings highlighted the need of additional research and investigation into community and individual beliefs surrounding family planning to ensure that interventions are culturally sensitive and locally responsive in order to enhance contraceptive uptake and decrease prevalence of unplanned pregnancies. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Let's give him a better clap. Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen. I hope you're noting down your comments, your questions, because we have them after the round of presentations. Next, we have Joy Ajwan from the Kisumu National Polytechnic. Joy is going to give a presentation on the effects of Airbnb listings, price differentials, and price dispersions of star-rated hotels in Nairobi. I do not want to preempt her, but I know that is the trending thing for staying whenever you go to a different town, the Airbnbs. We no longer go to the hotels. So let's begin and we hear what she has for us, and we also give her the questions that we will have as regards to her presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Yeah, there's a technical glitch. The laptop is not very comfortable with that. But as you've been told, I want to talk about Airbnb. Airbnb is the in thing, of course. People are opting out. Instead of sleeping in hotels, when they go for vacations, they prefer spending at the various Airbnbs. Airbnb is simply air, bed, and breakfast. So if you've been wondering what it means when we talk about an Airbnb, it is air, bed, and breakfast. So you find that nowadays if people go out for vacations, they may just walk to star-rated hotels to take pictures. But at the end of it, they go back and spend in the different Airbnbs. They go spend in various Airbnbs. Now, I wanted to see or to look at the impact. What impact does it have on the financial performance of the hotel industries? So it was a concern. Airbnb is a disruptive technology. We know we have technologies that are sustaining and technologies or innovations that are disruptive. So I'm looking at Airbnb in the concept of disruptive innovation. It actually came into the market around 2008. That was in San Francisco. In Africa, it has moved. The biggest The country with the biggest number of listings in Africa is Nigeria, followed by those other African countries. In Kenya, we have our greatest growth in Nairobi. Once we have the slides, you'll be able to see. Up to now, we talk about its growth in Nairobi, like we have over 12,000 active listings. That is according to AirDNA 0-2023. Now, when I talk about active listings, there are people who are offering this but have not registered with they are not recognized by AirDNA. But now when we talk about the registered companies that say that they're offering Airbnb as an alternative accommodation to the hotel accommodations, we have up to 12,000. I know as I talk to you, you wonder, what about Kisumu? Or you may be interested, like I'm talking about Nairobi. What about Kisumu? Kisumu, we have around 915 active listings. Now you can see how it has really, really grown. Yeah. And we come to star-rated hotels. We have around 54 star-rated hotels in Nairobi. And that is actually why I picked Nairobi County instead of Kisumu or any other place. Because Nairobi is enjoying a good number of, the biggest number of star-rated hotels in Kenya. Now I'm going to look at the impact. What impact does Airbnb have on the financial performance of these star-rated hotels? And to look at the financial performance in any hotel, we look at what we call the RevPAR. So what is RevPAR? RevPAR is the revenue per available room. Yeah? So each room, what kind of revenue? We are going to see, does the listing really affect the RevPAR of the hotels? And so I'm going to look at that one-on-one and see what we will have. And from the research that I did, definitely it has an impact. I'm just waiting for the slides at least to give you impact. I found that in every, when we're looking at the RevPAR, we'll have to look at the rates, the average rates, that the occupancy rates, and other things that we use to calculate or to check on the financial performance of these hotels. Now, as per my topic, we've talked about the price differentials. We've talked about the price dispersion. Now, what are these price differential and price dispersions? When I look at the price dispersion, I will look at the various charges that are charged between one Airbnb to the other. We know that they don't charge the same. So when they charge that differently, they don't have a standard. When they charge it so differently, what is the impact on the RevPAR? On price differential, I'm going to look at the difference between what the star-rated hotels charges and what is charged by the various Airbnb listed. So, if there's in case that the star-rated hotels charge higher, we find that most of the people will definitely go for the Airbnbs and forget about the star-rated hotels, and so that will actually impact on its RevPAR. And so we will look at that as we wait for the slide. Maybe I'll take you through we will see whether it is a concern in Kenya. Why is it a concern in Kenya? We've seen that it has actually enjoyed an exponential growth the growth of Airbnbs. In Kisumu alone, we have over 900. In Nairobi, 12,000. And those other towns also have quite a number. So, and it's still growing. So the results will actually help the hoteliers. If they can decide and incorporate this Airbnb. My brother yesterday was talking about the revenue, improving the revenue in the hotel industry, or started hotels, which means he had sensed that actually the revenue is going down and something should be done. Part of the things that are affecting the revenue of these started hotels is the upcoming Airbnb listings, and the growth rate is for sure very high. Welcome. As we check on the performance of these, the key words that we look at, we are going to look at what we call the RevPAR, that is revenue per available room. We are going to look at the ADR, that is the average daily rates, and we are also going to look at the OCC, that is the occupancy rates. These are going to be the key metrics used to measure the hotel performance. So some studies have been done before, though not in Africa, in developed countries. The studies that were done before in developed countries found contradicting results. Some felt that the listings does not affect the hotel industry at all, while others thought it was actually affecting. So it wasn't conclusively, and that is why it was important that we do this. I've said the study area of Nairobi was actually chosen because Nairobi enjoys a good number of listings, that is 12,336 Airbnb active listings and 53 star-rated hotels. So like Mombasa adopted a quantitative approach, and where a quantitative panel data was analyzed quantitatively. The study also employed correlation research design that aimed to investigate the effects of Airbnb finding listings, Airbnb listings, on hotel performance. So we sampled a number of hotels in Nairobi, and we also sampled the listings because we could not do the 12,000. So we had around 600. So we will see once the slide is ready what the findings were. Airbnb first came into the market in 2008. Up to 2016, it had minimal effect, or we could say no effect. And from 2016, it started growing very fast. It came into Kenya in 2012. So 2016, now the hotel industry started feeling its impact so much that they could not ignore it. Yeah? And it became a concern because we saw a significant increase in Airbnb listings while the hotel's RevPAR was actually going down. It kept on going down, the hotel RevPAR going down, and the Airbnb listings going up every day. When the analysis was done, we realized that the price differential affected the RevPAR of the hotel by 0.340, and we also found that the listings, as the number of listings increased, the hotel RevPAR went down also by 0.02, and then the price dispersion also affected the hotel listings by 0.86. So what do I mean? If, for example, a hotel could make 1 million in a month, then the impact, a 1% impact, or the impact, the 0.22 impact on Airbnb listing would mean that the hotel loses around 20,000 with an increase in Airbnb listing. So it is very important that the hotel industry should look into this Airbnb growth and incorporate it in the hotel industry officially, because when it came in as an a disruptive innovation, it was ignored. They thought that it wasn't going to impact on the hotel negatively, and yet it did impact. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Joy. Although we have been challenged by the technology, in this land where we are, sometimes it's a problem to say technology, we say technology. So it has actually happened to us. So thank you very much, Joy, for your presentation. We're going to have our next presenter, Obondo from Kisii National Polytechnic. Obondo, you're here? Obondo is going to talk about making agriculture attractive to youths, a case study of youth-owned agricultural enterprises in Kisii. I know the visual projection is very helpful, especially as we follow the proceedings, so I hope the next presenter we're going to be able to have the projection being successful. After this round of presentations, we have the next batch where we have Priscilla Rotich. I don't know if Priscilla Rotich is here already. Okay, we'll have Priscilla Rotich when she gets here, and then we'll have Evans Onyango also doing a presentation. That will be after we have the plenary discussion of the three who have just presented at this time. just to remind us of the theme of this 5th International Conference by the Kisumu National Polytechnic. Our theme was the adaptation and resilience, the role of integrated research, innovation, and entrepreneurship in mitigating climate change. That's why we realized that even our presenters, despite the vast sub-themes that we had, we are all gearing towards issues of sustainability, issues of adaptation, issues of resilience towards climate change. We know climate change has been quite an issue globally, and it is something that we must be able to find ways of adapting so that we are able to cope with the adverse effects that are brought about by the issues of climate change in our society. And all these adaptations, all these interventions that we come up with are things that should start right from the ground level, from each of us. And that is why it is prudent that these researchers, these studies that are being done by our researchers, by our scientists, we are able to domesticate them down to our levels, whereby we can easily uptake the recommendations that they give to us, and they may be able to work for us. And ultimately, we are looking forward to reversing the adverse effects that climate change has brought into the society. We know there are a lot of effects environmentally, economically, and even in the social setting. That is why amongst our presenters, we had issues of even social factors and climate change. We've had presentations on economic factors, how they affect climate change, and how climate change also affects us economically. And we also have the environmental factors, which are the majority, because that is directly related to issues dealing with climate change. We also have another category of cross-cutting issues, which in one way or the other, not being categorized under the three that I've talked about, but still have an effect and an impact on climate change. With that said, we know that climate change actually touches each and every aspect of our lives, even as we live and we need to do something about it. The honor starts with each individual that is seated here today. Thank you so much. Welcome, Obondo, with your presentation.
Okay, protocol observed. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Obondo Kevin from Kisii National Polytechnic, from the Department of Agriculture and Environmental Science. Welcome to my presentation on making agriculture attractive to the youth, a case study of youth participation in dairy farming in Kisii County. So, according to African Youth Charter, a youth is anybody between 15 to 35 years. I believe they are majority this side. This side, I know majority are about 35 years. So, my presentation is more about the majority from this side. So, I expect your maximum cooperation. Okay? So, this is the outline of my presentation. So, African population is expanding quickly, and the rate of economic growth is very slow, and this one has resulted to youth unemployment, and that one you can even feel it in Kenya right now, with approximately 12 million people seeking for employment at the present population increase, but the available opportunities are very limited. So in Africa, just like in Kenya, agriculture plays a major role in economic source of income in economic sector, and therefore youth participation can be of vital role in enhancing socioeconomic development. So from previous research by different researchers, it has been shown that if you can come up with framework that can make agriculture attractive to youth, then we can engage many of them in agriculture as an economic development. It has been realized that there are so many socio-economic factors which affect youth participation in agriculture. One of them is decision making, in whether I should be doing agriculture or I should do something else. But we find that most youth, they will participate in agriculture not as the main source of income or not of passion, but as a way of survival. But when another opportunity presents itself, then majority will prefer to go to seek for those different opportunities. For example, a youth in Siaya practicing, let's say, dairy farming. If an opportunity presents itself in Nairobi, let's say to go and become an accountant or a secretary, this person will run to the town to become an accountant or a secretary. Why? Because of the perception we have in agriculture that this is a dirty work that does not present or that does not result to viable income that can promote standard living. So the question is, how can we make agriculture attractive to the youth? So we use dairy farming as a case study to see what is the extent of youth participation in dairy farming? What are some of the challenges they are facing in dairy farming? And how can we promote youth participation in dairy farming? So, dairy farming is one of those economic sectors in Kenya that currently are viable when we practice them well. However, whether this has been translated into the desired outcome is still not well known. Therefore, this present study aims at documenting this based on the three specific objectives. One of them was determine the extent of youth participation in dairy farming. The second one to identify the challenges, and the last one to find out the strategies that we can put in place so that we involve many youth as possible in dairy farming as an economic sector. So this study was carried out in Kisii County, and these are some of the geographical characteristics of the area. The total population of 1.2 million. That is according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, which was done in 2019. And of course, the main economic activities carried out in the area, one of them is livestock farming. We have also crop farming, among others. So, on the research design, we employed survey research design, which was complemented by descriptive statistics to do the analysis. And on sampling size and sampling frame, we used the Casey and Morgan 1970 methodology to determine the sample size using this table of recommending sample size. And from this population of 1.2 million, we are able to come up with the 384 households. Then also we had focus group discussion, which was selected passively from the 9 sub-counties of Kisii County. We also had agricultural extension officers, which was automatic inclusion because they know they have background knowledge about agricultural activities which take place in that area. So on data collection methods, we employed questionnaires, key informant interviews, focus group discussion, and also participatory transect survey to be able to come up with this data. And on analysis methods, we used SPSS, that is version 22, and also Microsoft Excel to analyze the data, to analyze the quantitative data, when the qualitative data was analyzed in form of ranks, percentage, and the rest, as will be shown as we move on. So based on the demographic characteristics of the respondents, majority of the youths whom we managed to reach through the questionnaires were men, while female were the minority. This one can be understood from the fact that in terms of farming, then majority of them who you will find doing this is men, because of maybe in terms of ownership of land and so on. Then in terms of the level of education, at least majority were able to acquire basic education, that is either primary, secondary, and tertiary level. Then now to determine the extent to which these youth are practicing dairy farming in Kisii County, we opted at asking their main source of income. And from the table, majority of them believe in crop production as a source of income. Dairy farming also performed fairly well. Beef farming, poultry farming, aquaculture. Some also relied on agriculture, others also on remittance and salaries, especially for those who are working in the informal sectors as other sources of income. We also went ahead to check on the contribution of dairy farming as a single entity to food security in Kisii County. And in so doing, we compared dairy farming with tilling the land. And from the responses we got, majority believe that dairy farming have better income compared to tilling the land. That if you practice dairy farming on a standard level, you can be able to gain more income compared to somebody who is practicing crop production. We also did a cross-tabulation to see specifically those who are practicing different income sources in the agricultural sector, what they were able to get based on in Kenya shillings. So we can see from the findings that dairy farming performed very well, with at least about 37 of them able to get at least 20,000 per month from dairy farming. As compared, we can compare that one with crop farming. Majority of those who are doing crop farming, their income was very slightly low compared to those who are doing dairy farming. And of course, we also have those who are doing poultry also perform fairly well. Okay. We also went ahead to see the reasons why some youths were practicing dairy farming. And majority of them felt that they're doing this as a source of income. As that one, based on ranking. Others also do dairy farming as to supplement other farming activities. Others is because it is cheaper than tilling land, and others because it's a source of food. So majority was the opinion that they're doing it to make income. Then of course the second objective of this study was to find out some of the constraints which affect dairy farming in Kisii County. And based on this, majority of the respondents strongly agreed with the statement that most youth lack skills on dairy farming. Other responses also was that So the main challenge that face dairy farmers, youth participation in dairy farming in Kisii County was lack of skills on dairy farming, which was ranked number 1. The other challenge was lack of finance to establish or contract modern grazing units. The other one was poor market, especially for milk. The other one was high cost of dairy feeds, especially during the dry seasons. Then the other challenge was also scarcity of land, resource in Kisii. In Kisii region, we are blessed with very fertile land, but it's very small because of the sprawling population from the urban area to now the rural areas, and therefore there's not enough land to grow maybe dairy feeds like fodder. Other suggestions, others also felt that the other challenge which they faced in dairy farming was expensive veterinary services, especially on getting quality breeds, replacement stock, what we term as artificial insemination, and also in acquiring some of those vaccination and managing diseases. So the last objective of the study was to identify which strategies can be put in place so that we can have many youths joining agriculture sector, a case study now using dairy farming. Majority suggested that they needed training on farm management, provision of training facilities also as another strategy for enhancing youth participation, provision of ready market through the county government by availing more cooling plants, especially for milk, subsidizing dairy feeds, especially during the dry periods when we have scarcity of these resources, and also veterinary services as well as public sensitization on the importance of dairy farming. So from our results, we can make or draw the following conclusion, that it was evident that from dairy farming, youths can be able to create self-employment, and that the main challenges that they face were lack of skills on dairy farming, lack of access to finance, poor market of dairy products, and high cost of fees. And therefore, we recommend the following. One, that training institutions, especially TVETs, which are training on hands-on experience, should offer capacity building on dairy farm management that targets mainly the youths. That the government, in close partnership with financial institutions, should see a way in which they can be able to offer these youths long-term loan which have low interest rate, so that they can be able to break even when they opt to practice any agricultural activity that will lead to income. And that to solve the problem of poor market, the county government, in partnership with the existing processing plants, can establish more cooling plants that will be able to help these youths who are engaging in dairy farming to minimize losses that arises from poor market, especially for milk products. So I would also like to acknowledge the Kisii National Polytechnic for organizing this conference, the Kisii National Polytechnic for facilitating our participation in this conference, and also our stakeholders who participated or were involved in the course of us doing this research. Thank you very much for listening.
of our paper presentations for this conference. We want to move to another juncture where I will invite Mr. Evans Onyango, who is going to take us to the next step. And even as he comes, he's going to recognize the presence of our chief guests and our chief principal, who are already in the room with us as we move in to the next step of the day. Feel most welcome, feel at home, and feel at the Kisumu National Polytechnic, where industry succeeds. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. God is good all the time. Thank you so much. Now we are moving to the next phase. Remember, we had 3 events. One, we had the skills competition, where we had institutions bringing in teams that competed against each other in several trades. Then we also had the innovations competition, where we had a number of innovations. Again, the trainees were competing on each other. We had a set of judges who went through and scored these trainees. We made sure the judges were from both the Kisumu National Polytechnic and other institutions, so that we had a panel that was not biased. Finally, we also had the paper presentation. So we had 3 events at once. And I think we've managed to meet our objectives. At this point in time, allow me to recognize the presence of our chief principal and the guest. It is her effort that took us through. When we were working on the journal, it was not easy. And in most times when we lost hope, I can remember her words, I carried her words always, that we are up with the task and we will make it. And actually we did it. Thank you, Sana Madam, for your support. Thank you so much. I also wish to recognize the presence of our chief guest, the County Director of Technical Education, Asante Sana. Thank you so much for your commitment. And also for you've always been with us, all year, since our second conference. Today is not my day, so for the interest of time, I'm not going to make a speech. I just wish to call you just a remark, 1 minute in the interest of time. Okay.
Thank you, our chief guest, our chief principal. We have come to an end today of our national conference. We have had paper presentations. We received 49 papers, which we will put in our abstract book. And we heard that those who gave us the papers, we thank you. Those who present the same papers, we also thank you for having a chance to come here so that your assistance to organize our international conference. Now, our papers, the papers we have been presented here, all of us can agree that they are papers which are sorting out our problems, technical science and social problems. We appreciate the recommendations, conclusions. We hope that they will find a place in our country so that we are able to sort out our social problems, technical problems, and science problems, especially in technical institutions. We are moving ahead and we are competing in universities. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being precise. I was getting worried, but like you're also telling yourself. I wish to welcome Mr. Thomas Namon. 1 minute. He was in charge of the innovations. Just a minute.
Good afternoon, everybody. Chief guest, the County Director, the Chief Principal, Madam Catherine Kelonye, trainers and instructors who are here, trainees, all other guests. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all those who have participated in innovations. You know, Kenya is becoming a hub of innovations in this region, and we in Tibet do not want to be left behind. We have seen 19 innovations which have been presented in our tents, and including innovations as far as from Nairobi. We saw innovations from Kabete, innovations from the Polytechnic, and also we also saw exhibitions which I think are also innovations. We'd like to thank you very much for taking the time. Please make sure we still brush them, because you got comments, you are judged. Brush them further, because we are saying the current trend of innovation is actually commercialization. We do not do innovations for the sake, but we innovate in order to bring our country, in order to solve problems in our country and in the world as such. So once again, thank you very much, and we'd like to thank our Chief Principal for supporting our innovations, because without her, a lot of things would not have happened. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. At this point, I said we had 3 events. We also had the skills competition. I wish to welcome the Director, Research, Innovation and Public Services, to just give us a comment on the skills and the importance of skills competition, and also we sponsored greatly in terms of skills competition by history, where he also doubled as the Director of History. Kindly, we'll give you 2 minutes.
Very much, Mr. Nemo. Let me thank all of you for being here. Those who are here and those who have left. Mr. Nukla for ourselves. Before I go there, we have had opportunity to participate in skills competitions. The last time we were in Zimbabwe, we took our students along with us, 2 of them, and we found that the level of skills is very high out there. Our next level, even as we start from here, even with our non-Tibets, our next level is that we're going to compete regionally. Regionally means the Western zone. And it's going to culminate in a national competition, after which we have been slotted to go to Lyons, France, for the final competition. That is if we win. It is very important that we put more effort into skills. We know that we are going the industry way. We know that skills form the future of this country. We know that we need to train in skills. So we are happy that we are able to pull it off the second time around, and we are happy that we are going to show them, both as a Western region and as a nation, at the Lyons conference. And let me thank very much our Chief Principal. We love you very much. You help us quite a lot. You fight with us here and there, but somehow you come down to help us. In this particular case, you are going to sponsor everything that we have seen here today, and we are very grateful for that. Our director, thank you so very much. We have been together. We know each other because we've walked a long way for several years. Thank you for heeding our call every time we call you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Travel safely. God bless you. Next year we'll see each other again. Next year we hope to make it better. Thank you. Thank you. This is my brother. He's given us a journal, and that journal is going to go to light again. We are going to make sure that we have been a hub as the only Tibet institution with a vibrant journal in the country. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Brother. At this point, Allow me to welcome the Chief Principal of the Kisumu National Polytechnic, Madam Catherine Kewani.
All members of that, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you are closely with participants. We did not give up. For 3 days we've had active participation here. We have seen very productive exhibitions, innovations, and a very good skills competition that was carried out. I want to really appreciate our students for having shown the positive interest in research. Research will take you far. You have heard Dr. Nyangara talk about Lyons. Let me tell the students, where is Lyons? Is it in Kisumu County? They don't understand what you're talking about. That is in France. Move close to the research department and you will go places. Madam Jane Pauline, I like your active posture in research. Can you be a role model to the girl child in this room? They believe it is only for the men. They think you cannot do it. Madam Jane, not Jane, Madam Betty and Madam Carol, you are good role models to our students. Thank you for that. I really want to first of all thank the research department, Dr. Saka Nyangara. Your contribution to this institution is not incomplete. The head of department, Evans, and your deputy, Thomas. Where is Thomas? You know? That is a strong team. They work. You'll find them here up to Saturday, up to Sundays, even as late as 9 p.m. They put all their best for the Kisumu National Polytechnic. And that's why we are proud. I believe the first TVET institution to launch the journal. Is there any other? I believe we are second to Rift Valley. Or Rift Valley launched sometime back. They've been in existence, I think, for 10 years. So we are coming on board, and I believe we are going to overtake the Rift Valley. I want to also appreciate our county director who have worked with us, and I believe this activity is successful because of our team. I would still want to recognize our guests, those who came to give their presentations. Thank you so much. I'm not giving a lot of thanks, but I believe it will be necessary for me to do that. We had our sister institutions, TVETs. Are they still here? Yes? Please come forward. I feel happy with you around. You were here with us day one. Which institution? Kabete National Polytechnic. Thank you so much. We were with you in Zimbabwe. Did we also go together? We have walked the journey with you at World Skills also. You are our competitors. We are together again. Thank you so much. So just say hello to the...
Hello everybody. I think this was an eye-opener and I think we are moving in the right direction. Everybody, we thank you for working together with us and let's be companions, we correct each other and may God bless this national technique and all the institutions. Thanks a lot.
So to our trainees, I would like to say Dr. Saka Nyangara has opportunities for minds that are able to do research. We can give you an internship. So don't just sit back. Come forward. We have the research department, Evans. The students don't even know where you are. They only see a TISC center along the highway. Come forward, meet the head of department, meet the director of research, innovation and outreach services. We are going to build you. Your career begins from here. Don't leave Kisumu National Polytechnic and start knocking on doors looking for a job. No. We are here to build you, and we have all it takes to make your career progressive. Thank you so much. I humbly welcome our county director. Give us his speech. Thank you. Director, can we welcome him, stand up and give a clap? Our county director.
Thank you, Chief Principal, all protocols, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I have not come here because of PowerPoint presentation, but I just came here to use this table. My name is Joseph Sunguti, and I'm County Director for Tibet for 4 counties, Kisumu, Siaya, Kakamega, and Vihiga. I was here during the opening ceremony for this activity, the Kitume, and the displays we had out there. And of course, there was also a strategic plan, which was led by the PS for State Department of Tibet. So I start making my closing remarks. I want to tell you a little story. About a week ago, I was walking along the road between Sigalagala and Bukura. So that's where my home is. And I met 2 little boys, about 10 years of age, about 10 to 11 years. And they were also talking on the road as they were walking along. Then I heard one of them say, "Long time ago." That caught my attention. And unajua kitambo, tulikuwa tukifanya. So I decreased my pace of walking so that they could catch up with me. And I asked them, "In which class are you?" They said, "Not class, we are in grade. We are in grade 4, grade 5. I did not go further in that. I said, that's a long time. But it startled me that everyone has long time ago, isn't it? And your long time in the past is the age you have gone through up to this time. So those 10-year-old fellows who were born around 2013, and they were able to say, long time ago. Now that story of long time ago that I also want to present in line with this innovation. I also want to say, long time ago, we used to plant maize in February, the month of February, and we used to harvest in August. How many months are those? March, April, May, June, July, and August. 6 months. Today, we plant maize around March and we harvest in July or June. How many months are those? Very few, isn't it? What is the problem? What has changed? Is the altitude changing? Is the latitude changing? Is the country changing? What is it? The answer is in research. What we have been presenting here, research. Research has gone ahead and improved our lives. You will plant maize in March, you harvest in June, July. When I go home these days, I find boiled maize all over, roast maize all over. It's ready. And that is not ready, it's just about to be ready. You get it? So, the activities that have gone on here for the last 3 days, 14th, 15th, and 16th of June, are research activities, which are very important. Some of them are documented in the journal of science that you are given on 14th. It is very important for us as a Tibet institution, and I can see when other people from the health sector here, very important to impress research, to impress innovation, better ways of doing things. Things will not always do things as usual. That is, there is nothing like business as usual. We must do come to a time when we do business as usual, to improve our lives, not just for the sake of research. And therefore, that is the thing I wanted to tell you about research. I also want to say something about agriculture. When I came in, a good friend of ours, he has just been presenting on agriculture here. Agriculture and what I'm calling historical injustices. Agriculture and historical injustices. This country is, in terms of economy, is an agricultural country, correct? Agriculture contributes more than 20% of the domestic, gross domestic product of in this country. And therefore, we expect a lot of employment to be in agricultural sector more than any other sector. But because of attitude, because of historical injustices, agriculture does not receive as much prominence as it should, especially by young people. One day I did an experiment. I was at home with my boys. They are just becoming to go to university. Then the previous day I went and bought pork sausages. Get it? Pork sausages, then ham, some of those nice things. Then I asked that to be prepared very well. I wanted to gauge the attitude of those boys. When we came to breakfast, they came very fast, sat, so bread, so sausages, so ham, so everything. After eating, I told them, now, I want you to go and make sure those pigs that we have are clean. The pigs, correct? They are okay, they are well fed, and they should not be in a bad environment. They told me, no, we cannot clean pigs. We cannot feed pigs. They even told me a story in the Bible of a prodigal son who left and went to some land, and there he was employed to take care of pigs. Then I asked them, but the pork sausages that you have just been feasting on, you gave ruling, they come from the pigs. What is this story about the prodigal son and what have you? I want that work done. I don't want to hear things about, negative things about pigs. They were telling me that, you see, a pig is not a kind of animal that we should be interacting with. I told them, go away, I'll do the work myself. That is the attitude of young people on agriculture. And if I ask some of you that I want to employ you, to pay you even 2,000 shillings a day to take care of pigs, you will quickly say no. You get it? Because they are not like, look for somebody else who is not very well educated to do that work. But you're asking somebody who is not well educated to do agriculture, and yet agriculture requires people who are well educated. If you take fertilizer, for example, and you say this is rare, you must provide the chemical formula, isn't it? It requires an educated person. When you are saying CAN, calcium, ammonium, nitrate, does that require an educated person? It must be an educated person. So we are the people who should go to those places and make sure that agriculture flourishes. We, you young people, not anybody else. And the historical injustices I'm talking about is this. When we attained independence in this country in 1963, the whole preoccupation was that we must be educated, and you get the Muzungu's job. You get it? The white collar. Go to the office wearing a suit like the one I'm having. I've left the coat there and the tie. And sit in an office on a rocking chair. You can turn around it, swinging, and sign checks and vouchers. Not going to tender base in the farm. Are you getting it? That is what I'm calling injustice, and it has not left us. It is still very much with people that when you are educated, you cannot go to a Yuakali shed and help do the work of a Yuakali person. But we are in Tibet institution. This is Tibet. Tibet, we are supposed to work with our hands. We are supposed to be self-employed. We are supposed to ensure that we feed ourselves through the knowledge and innovation that we have had in the college. So when should we join the Yuakali? We look at Yuakali fellows and with our faces turned upside down, and we say, no, this is not the kind of person, this is not the kind of thing I should be doing. But you are in Tibet. You should make those things better than any other person. And therefore, I want to say that there must be a change in attitude. Change in attitude. I have seen very many people interacting with them. You ask them, what are you doing? Say, I'm looking for a job, but I've been a matatu conductor for the last 20 years. You are still looking for a job. That is a job. Why are you looking for a job on the job? Accept it, that is what God gave you, and that's what you are capable of doing. You don't say, I'm only a conductor and I'm looking for a job. And so we need to change the attitude. We need to embrace innovation. We need to embrace research, better ways of doing things. And research must be such that it improves the lives of the people, starting with yourself and the community. And so as the Kisumu National Polytechnic here, we do whatever we are doing. We normally go to Tibet Fair, the State Department for Tibet, and the Director of Vocational and Technical Education normally allows principals here and others in other colleges to go for an annual exercise or activity called Tibet Fair. In the fair, we showcase what we have been able to do in the institution and things that go towards improving people's lives. Those of you who are here on, I think on Wednesday and Thursday yesterday, and I think a bit of today, you must have seen the displays out there, isn't it? The kind of things that you should be doing to improve people's lives. And what I want to recommend is that after you have done it, it has been assessed, it is good, patent it. Do the patenting, because there are some people here who, in this country, who want to benefit from the sweat of others. We call it, plagiarism, we can call them intellectual injustices. Somebody uses what you have done for their own end, for their own good. But it's good to patent so that you ensure that what you have come up with is really yours. As I conclude, I want to say that I hope this 5th conference that we have held here has had some insights in you, that it has changed you in a way. Those questions, those recommendations that were being made here, the last one being the one on agriculture, dairy farming and what have you, let us express them. Let us tell somebody somewhere we need to go through the researches that are done and we need the improvement. we have a very big book here. 5 of them will weigh about a kilo on what the journals, where the journals, the researches have been published. We've been accused also of being poor leaders in this country. To know, if you ask somebody, for example, what is in the air today, they will not tell you that the budget was read yesterday. They will say, what do you mean? What's in the air? The wind is blowing. But we should know we are talking about the budget. It's in the newspaper. It was in the TV. When you go to watch TV, what do we watch? The entertainment, some good music. But we don't look at what some people are presenting there and be keen on what is happening. And therefore, I would like, as I conclude, to say that the presentation has been of high quality. Personally, I've been reading through the abstracts and the researches, particularly the findings. The findings and the conclusions, they are very important in any research. What you have found, what did you find out? I was reading one about socio-economic something in Alego, based on how people are living in Alego, Busonga. My friend Randa, principal Siaya Institute of Technology, is among the authors of that. And the research is just wonderful. We use that and take it to another area and improve the lives of those people. What is being said of Alego can easily be applied to slum areas of Kisumu here very well. Because it was to do with a lot, to do with sanitation and water and so on, and the disposal of both solid and water waste, disposal of solid waste. And it is important that the research is done in a particular area is applied in another area. And that's what we do to benefit our people. And therefore, with these very many remarks, I wish to declare this 5th conference officially closed. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Director. And we take the challenge and ensure that we move beyond just the innovations and internationalization. Will you take the challenge? I'll be in front. I believe that you'll also follow. Thank you so much. The guest of honor, allow me to recognize the presence of normally at Kisumu Polytechnic, we mentor some vocational training institutes. They've been here with us. Allow me to recognize the presence of center managers and trainers from these institutions. Can you just stand up and wave? Thank you so much. At this junction, I want us to move to the next phase, which is the awarding ceremony. Mr. Thomas will take over.
It is now time to harvest. Where do you harvest? How long did it take? Did you plant in February or you planted in April? So in this phase, we are going to give awards and recognize those who excel in skills competition. We are also going to recognize those who have done well innovations. So we'll start with skills competition. And I will request so I will go to the mechanical department and request we start with mechanical. Mechanical, we have 3 competitors. And I will start with the second runners-up. The second runners-up is Liganwa VTC. I'll ask the center manager. But before that, I'll ask the director, Dr. Charles Nyangama, to come and give this award. The center manager, Liganwa, sit here.
For the interest of time, we're going to call all the 3 winners and you come in that order so that we set time. So the annual will be followed by the Kisumu National Polytechnic, what position 2?
Yeah. Please, the center manager and the students to come together. The 2 students.
The students.
The 2 students.
Kisumu Polytechnic. And Katito VTC.
Come with the 2 students, please, that work with a mechanical.
This would be called
Start with number 3.
Wait. This is BSC.
Liganwa VTC.
Liganwa VTC. Please help program. That is second runner-up. Unfortunately, the students are already gone. Number 2.
This time we realize that normally the trophy remains in the school and the students have nothing to take home. So this time we are going to give medals to the students. Make sure you give it to the students.
Look up.
The second one is Special Polytechnic. And now the overall, the winner is Katito VTC. Please clap for them. I will go to ICT. ICT. Now we call upon Evans, the HOD. Please give the award. With ICT, we start with
No, I'm giving this trophy, but I'm crying inwards.
Kisumu Poly. There are only 2 competitors here.
Go to the students.
Kisumu Polytechnic is over? Okay, given. Thank you. Fashion and design. ICT. ICT, we start with Kisumu Polytechnic. Number 3. Please come together, Kisumu Polytechnic, Katito VTC. Katito again. So Kisumu Polytechnic had two positions. Number 1. Number 2, are those students off? Support. Please give them medals. That's Zibalisha. Zibalisha medals. Can you clap for them? Then number 2 is Katito VTC. There you go. Can you got the medals? Thank you so much.
I'll make a follow-up.
I have fashion and design. Kisubupoli again. Kisubupoli are 2 groups competing. The second group. Walimu, the students in the second group, are they still here? They're not there.
Now I'll mention the students, George Otieno and Juma Collins. Ensure that they get the medals.
Fashion and design, the following will come forward. Silagua National Polytechnic, Kive BTC, and Kisumu National Polytechnic. I would like to call the Chief Principal to grace this. I will start with number 3, Sigalagala National Polytechnic. Yes, thank you so much, Sigalagala. Do you have the students here? Yes. Yes, the medals for the students. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Number 2, Kibere BTC. Thank you so much, Lafayette. Also the medals on behalf of the students. Then number 1, Kisumu National Polytechnic, where are they? Who is speaking for? Madam, you are here. And where are our students?
Where are your friends? You're not the ones? Or they're in the tent?
Please, some students come and take it.
Come and receive on your behalf.
Of your colleagues. Please, 2 students come.
Come. Okay. Textile.
Yes.
You are in textile? Are you in textile? You are in textile? Who else is in textile? Yeah. Let's have the textile. Textile.
Thank you so much, winners. Kisumu National Polytechnic is becoming a flagship center for textile technology. Please show us the way. Now, I would like to call the county director. We say county director, as not director. County's director for electrical trade. List the following institutions to be available: Homa Bay ETC, Paul Goya, and Kisumu National Poly. Please come forward. Homa Bay. Number 3, Homa Bay. Where is Homa Bay? Yes. Thank you so much, Homa Bay, for the good work. Number 2, Kisumu National Polytechnic. Kisumu National Polytechnic. Point number 2. And where are the students of Kisumu Poly? Expect the students to be here. Mwalimu, where are our students?
We don't give you the medals.
We don't give you the medals. Where's the other one from electrical? The other student, then student from electrical to represent. Share.
Yes.
I Thank you very much. Thank you. Then number 1, Paul Boyer. Thank you, sir. I'd like to call Madam Joy to come and give the awards of no, you are in hospitality. Director, let me misuse you again. or director, choose for me one of the center managers. One of the center managers. Yes, sir. So for hospitality, please Keve, oh, you are here. Keve, Sigalagala, Kisumu National Poly. Please, because Pearson is here, I would wish to substitute him with the deputy. The deputy Kabete. The deputy Kabete National Polytechnic. Is he here? Please come. Is the deputy? Oh, thank you very much. Please, number 3, we start with Keve. Then, I clap for him, applause. Then number 2, Sigalagala National Polytechnic. Medals. Where will you keep these medals? Huh? Please keep them in the neck at least for 1 week. Don't remove them. Then number 1, the Kisumu National Polytechnic. I will return Deputy Principal. Allow us to use you again for Marshal 3. Now Marshal 3, I will require Homa Bay, Rera, and Kisumu National Poly. Now, Homa Bay.
Homa Bay VTC. They are position 3. Position 2 went to the Kisumu National Polytechnic. Where the Kisumu National Polytechnic? And position 1 went to Rera VTC. Anybody from Kisumu? Engineer?
I will start with position 3, Homa Bay. Asante sana Homa Bay. You say Homa Bay Dala, or Kisumu is the one on Dala. Position 2, Kisumu National Polytechnic. Where are our students? Students in building, civil engineering and building, any here? Yes, there are 2. Why don't you come singing and dancing? Kuja. Thank you very much. And position 1, Rera VTC. Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Principal. I would like to call the Director now give the overall best. The director, please come again. Now, the following prepare. The overall Alwan Paul Moya, Katito BTC, and Kisumu National Poly.
Kisumu Poly will request kindly the principal.
Paul Moya number 3.
Yeah, we don't give medals.
Number 2 is Katito BTC. And the overall best is the Kisumu National Polytechnic. That's all. Innovations. We are going to give 3 medals for the 3 best in innovations. I will start with the 3rd runners up. It's a health project, and it's about monitoring the real biometric. So it's from Kabete National Polytechnic. Please come forward.
For the director.
The director.
Who else will help us?
So we want you to commercialize. When are we coming to see, to buy a piece? From tomorrow.
Okay. Please clap.
Thank you very much, sir. Number 2, we are going to talk about TKNP Blood Bank. TKNP Blood Bank. And that is from the student. I want one of the students to come forward. That is Colin Soziambo and Doris Achille.
Where's Collins?
Collins?
Come to the middle.
When are you commercializing? When are we buying the blood bank thing? On Wednesday.
I'm being told it's online. We need to talk with the county governments and the polytechnic. It's a good innovation. To save life.
And then the overall winner is from Frederick Orwa and Swena Akinyi, who have made what they call TKNP gasifier stove. Where the students come? Where the students? Where the students? Huh? Yes. You see, they have just come from above. So, that is their supervisor.
You are told that the Jiko can cook ugali in a record 2 minutes. Is it true? But you have to ugali below. When are we commercializing? Because that is the challenge that you're giving. When are we commercializing? so much.
Thank you so much. I think we still have one more prize to offer, and I'd like to call Madam Chief Principal, Madam Catherine, to appreciate our chief guest by offering a present. Chief guest, Director Joseph Sunguti, please come. Please come for the chief guest. We appreciate you, Madam Director, for all the work you've been doing for us. You can carry the present in that bag. As you walk everywhere, tell them Mr. Paul is present. Asante sana. I would like to return the...
Thank you so much, Bwana Thomas, for the harvest. We planted on Wednesday, and harvested on Friday. But I know the work has been there a long way back. At this point, I wish to call Jen Pauline to give us a vote of thanks.
To the chief guests, County Director, Tibet, to our Chief Principal, Madam Catherine Kilone, our fellow Director Rios Katari, HOD Research and Development and the Deputy and the Committee, fellow trainers, presenters, trainees. I'd like to take this opportunity just to give a vote of thanks to everyone who has made this international conference, the 5th international conference, a success. Like we've had, we started on Wednesday. We have been here for the last 3 days. Until today, we've seen the efforts, we've seen the harvests, and we've seen our work has not gone in vain. And I believe we all won't stop at that place. Today, even as we had our trainees here, a few of them approached me and they showed interest. They actually had the presentations, and madam, they were interested. They were asking, how can we join this team? Believe you me, you can be part of the team just by you coming and sharing with us. We have a full department of research and development here at Kisumu Poly, and we'll incorporate you. Thank you so much for showing interest. To our trainers, even as we continue to supervise our trainees in the different projects, let us give them the full hand, the upper hand, so that they can actually domesticate and even on the projects that they do, and they will use them even in their future as they continue. Just to say thank you, generally, for all of us being here, for dedicating your time, for spending your time, even to research and help us have these innovations in place. Thank you so much, and may God bless you, even as we will leave this place. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you thank you for the vote of thanks. I wish to talk about volunteer, for a word of prayer. I'm reminded that first is the national anthem. Can we stand kindly? We know the national anthem. We can sing without even.
Mungu yetu, ilete baraka shall we? Thank you.
Volunteer, student.
Okay, let's begin by praying. Thank you, Master, for the great opportunity that you have given to us. You have guided us and granted us the opportunity up to now, Lord Father. I just human want to stand from this place, Lord Father. Yes, Lord, continually give us guidance and show us your guidance. Give us blessings and mercy so that you may reach our pleasant safely. For my yes, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. We have lunch courtesy of the chief principal.